And here he comes again now to bowl to Keep Matif in a job aside ball. He plays that one out towards cover point. They're going for a single here. What do you mean? Was he going to have to hurry the throw from DJ Tips to start saying? Was he run out without scoring?
Of course he was running out without scoring, Tony.
Well, that's what I just said, Bill. Was he out, you stupid also?
What do you mean, was he out, Tony? Look at the replay.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast, the fourth time we have been on the air. We're very excited to be here, and today we're going to be looking at the New Zealand-England one-day series. We've got a live reaction to what has just gone in a fantastic first one-day international. We're going to have a quick look at the tri-series between Australia, New Zealand and England. We'll have a look at the South Africa-Australia Test series that's upcoming, the South African-Indian T20 series which has been going on, all the latest county movements that is going on. There's plenty going on there, and the big discussion, the white ball controversy, people choosing white ball contracts over red ball and first class cricket. What does it mean for the future of England cricket, and is it even the right thing that the game should be going in that direction? Who knows? We'll discuss it all today. I am Rob, one half of the Leading Edge podcast. I'm joined today by Rich.
Hey Rob, how's it going?
Very, very good, mate. How is England? How cold is it?
It's a bit parky this morning. It's frost on the roof. It's not pleasant. Let's put it that way. Got my slippers on.
It does make me quite happy. I love asking that question of any Englishman. What's the weather like? And I'm like, yeah, New Zealand's quite warm. Saying that, New Zealand is on course to be the hottest summer in history and also the wettest. So global warming is still a myth.
Yeah, that's said in jest. we don't believe that. Do you want to do this podcast on your own? You know, keep talking about how nice it is in New Zealand and how cold it is in England. Is that what you're aiming for?
I do. It's a shocker. I just can't help it. I just can't help myself.
This is what tends to happen, though. When you start thinking, as the new year ticks over and we start looking towards the cricket season in England, this is what happens. It looks okay for a while, then suddenly it's like a second winter.
It does.
You go into pre-season nets indoor and it's snowing or it's freezing outside. It doesn't really get you in the mind space to be playing cricket, but you know the pain of being an Englishman.
Many an English cricketer, club cricketer especially, has been sat there in March and they look out across the field. It's probably flooded. It's freezing cold, and they look at each other and they say, "Winter is coming." Since Game of Thrones came out, anyway.
Do they know?
Do they? Some of the coldest days I've ever had in my life are based on playing club cricket in April, pre-season friendlies, 3 jumpers on.
It's not fun. That's just reminded me I need to buy a new jumper.
Jumper.
Important news.
to go with your new bowling boots as well, I hear.
Oh, they are bad boys, they are. I think I mentioned before, there's a bit more pink than I expected on them, but they're still pretty nice. So, looking forward to getting them bad boys going.
And what do they have on them? What's the most important factor of your bowling boots?
Oh, is it the fact that I got my initials on them?
You've got your initials on your bowling boots. There is a name for people like that. I'm not quite sure what it is.
It was free. It didn't cost anything extra. It was like, why not?
Well, I suppose it does save a job. You remember when you were a kid and your mum used to put your initials on the size of the jumper inside it, and it will say RA or RT. You know, you don't have to do that anymore. Someone's already beat you to it.
I cannot go any further. I apologise for having my initials on it. I like the fact that I have my initials on it, I'll be honest.
I love it.
But there you go.
I love it. Right, enough of the rambling. We know New Zealand's hotter than England. It doesn't take much of it, but let's get cracking in to a bit of cricket news.
Right, first ODI, hot off the press, literally has just finished. So New Zealand have clinched the first ODI in Hamilton this morning or evening, depending on which part of the world you're in, by beating England by 3 wickets. England 284 for 8, with Jason Roy 49, Joe Root 71 and Josh Butler 79 off 65. 2 wickets apiece for Ish Sodhi, Mitch Santner and Trent Boult. I didn't really catch much of this, Rob. I don't know if you caught a little bit of it, but I did just catch the very end. And New Zealand knocked this total off with 4 balls to spare. In main part even, terrific 113 from Ross Taylor, rolling back the years. And he put on a 4-wicket partnership of 178 with Tom Latham, who scored 79. Kiwis were 3 down for 27 early on, so England were making a good game of it. But then obviously that innings, or the innings between those two guys, really put it away from England. As good as those innings were, though, it's down to Mitch Santner, friend, hero of the podcast, Mitch Santner, to get the Black Caps over the line with an absolutely fantastic 45 off 27, including 4 sixes. And one of those was plonked over the rope to win the game off Chris Wokes, I believe. For England, Chris Woakes 2 for 47, and Ben Stokes actually made a return to playing cricket again. 2 for 43 off his 8 overs as well. So good to see him back. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Man of the match, can you guess who it was? Yeah, Ross Taylor. Not surprising.
Nah, beautiful knock by Ross Taylor, to be fair. And every time the Kiwis do well, you used to have Brendan McCullum at the top of the order smashing 50s, and then that's kind of evolved into Colin Munro and Martin Guptill, two of the finest openers in one day and T20 cricket around the world, and Kane Williamson, who's been Mr. Consistent for so many years. You take those three players, all three of them fail, and I looked down at the scorecard early and went, oh man, the game's done. Because they were 3 down for 20 odd, and I was like, well, that's it. But Tom Latham really came of age in India for New Zealand during the winter, played some fantastic innings in the middle of the order, and Ross Taylor's just been around since, he's probably 12, 15 years of playing top-level international cricket. You sometimes look at him and you go, I feel this could be it. I feel this is his time. He's on his way out. And then he goes and performs like this and scores a fantastic 113. I think he became one of the only few New Zealanders to go past 7,000 one-day international runs. In fact, he might be the only one. I need to check that stat.
Wow. I did see that was his 18th ODI century as well, just to throw in a nice little stat there.
18th ODI century. I wonder how many English players have scored more than 18 ODI centuries. There won't be that many.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say not many.
Yeah,
that's
research
there. That's my gut feeling.
That's incredible. Incredible performance. Tommy Latham's really turned himself into a first-class Test one-day cricketer. And Mitch Santner at the end, big Mitchie, getting it done. For all the slack I gave him in the last episode about his fielding, his batting has more than made up for that 6 palmed over the bar, and he's been able to take the boys home. But I think England will look at the game and be quite disappointed. Jason Roy, jug avoidance. Huge jug avoidance. He was out for 49 off actually a fairly miserly 66 balls for Jason Roy. He normally goes a bit quicker than that. But he'll be disappointed.
Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, that's why I mentioned Josh Butler. He was kind of one of the only guys that was really going, ahead of a run of ball, and it wasn't a dramatic run of ball. It was 65, 79 for 65 for him. So the England boys didn't really seem to get going with it. I caught a little bit of the post-match interviews. Just as I was waking up this morning, and they were saying it's a bit of a two-pace pitch, but they still scored plenty of runs on it. So I don't know what that was all about. It was interesting as well, the selection. Bairstow kept his place, and it was Hales that dropped out from the top of the order. So that's an interesting one. Obviously, Hales is a man in the news at the minute, so his name will be coming up quite a lot, I'm sure, in this podcast. But yeah, I agree with you. I think England will be disappointed. I think they really want to take that form in to this series that they had against Australia in the ODI. So yeah, 4 more games to play, 1-0 to New Zealand. Let's see where it goes.
One more point on that, and it's got to be Ben Stokes back in an England shirt in his country of birth. It's pretty epic for the lad to be back after everything he's been through. And the one thing that always makes me laugh about cricket is like, we'll be such a better team when Ben Stokes is back in. We are a better team when Ben Stokes is back in. But don't expect the world from day one. And he only got 12 with the bat. Bowled all right with the ball. He's 2 for 43 off 8. It's pretty good. But don't expect the world. The guy's not played a lot of cricket. It may take him a few games to get going. It's just sometimes people think players are better than what they are when they're not actually on the field.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's good to see him back, and hopefully everything's, not everything's behind him just yet, because he's got a little bit of stuff to sort out back home, but hopefully this is the start of his return, and we'll see him playing plenty of games for cricket for England as we go forward. So, moving on, let's start mopping up a little bit. What did we, what's happened in the last week or so? Well, it was the last game and the final of the brilliantly named Trans-Tasman Tri-Series.
Smooth.
We need a better name for that, guys.
Smooth.
Come on. It's Aussies, Kiwis, get your heads together. We need a better name than the Trans-Tasman Tri-Series. It's just not working for me. So it was Australia-New Zealand in the final after England couldn't quite do enough in Game 6 to overcome the run rate difference they needed to overcome between themselves and New Zealand. England did win that game, their first win in this mini-series, beating New Zealand in Auckland by 2 runs. England 194 for 7. Captain Owen Morgan finally got some runs, 80 off 46. Fireworks. Whilst Dawid Malan registered his 4th T20 50 in 5 games, or in his first 5 games as well, by getting 53 off 36. He's taken to it like an absolute duck to water, hasn't he? So really impressed with Milan going into a T20 where I don't know if we would have necessarily expected him to work into it so well.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. In reply, then New Zealand, Guptill again in the runs, 62 off 47. Colin Munro, 57 off 21. He's on fire.
That's 7 sixes. 7.
Yeah, they absolutely destroyed the England openers, which even as an Englishman I found quite funny. Nasser is saying, a man that I've got a lot of respect for. He doesn't mince his words. He described the England opening bowlers as diabolical, with their leg stump length bowl into Munro, and pointed out it's pretty obvious when you're watching. You probably don't want to be bowling length on his leg stump.
Yeah, that's good advice.
It's solid, isn't it? Life-changing advice. England did hold on, though, as we say. England got the win in that last game, game 6. It held on largely thanks to economical bowling as spinners Rashid and Liam Dawson, who both took 1 for 22, 1 for 27, respectively. Worth noting in this one, only 27 sixes in that game. Pathetic.
Whoa,
I mean, come on,
that's shoddy.
32 in the game before.
Yeah,
is this entertainment or what?
That's a shame. The game's going to die if there's only 27 sixes going down.
Exactly. Anyway, moving on. Let's get rid of England. Australia, New Zealand in the final. Australia well and truly deserved to be there, obviously, and they beat New Zealand by 19 runs in a Duckworth-Lewis affected final in Auckland. Kiwis batted first, and they stumbled along really. 150 for 9. Ross Taylor, that man again, hit an unbeaten 43 off 38. After openers Guptill and Munro both made good starts, hitting 21 and 29 respectively. Man of the match, Ashton Agar. Still remember Ashton Agar's debut at Trent Bridge. Did he get 99 or 91 or something like that? 99. It was just remarkable. It's like, who's this kid? What is he doing? And then I don't think he played again. It's bizarre. Anyway, he took 3 for 27 off his 4. Good sport. Is it Kai Richardson? I might call him Kane, but I think it's Kai Richardson. And Andrew Ty, 2 for 30. Both took 2 for 30. That's nice symmetry there. Australia battled the rain delays, and with a revised Duckworth-Lewis 103, they had to make sure they got ahead of the required rate with more rain around. And successfully, thankfully for them, that was done. 50 for your mate, Darcy Shaw. Well batted, Darce. And a good contribution from captain David Warner, who's only 25, but obviously just every little help in this one. By the time the players left the field for the last time, Glenn Maxwell, one of your mates again, Rob, who would later be named man of the series. He was on 20 not out. Aaron Finch at 5, which has been a really good selection, moving him down to 5. He was 18 not out. And that was enough for the, I nearly said convicts, sorry. That was enough for the Australians to come out on top and to be crowned winners of the Trans-Tasman Tri-Series.
Wowza.
So,
I tell you what, you've got a memory like an elephant, mate. The fact you can remember I was slagging off Darcy Short for having the worst T20 50 of all time, and the fact that I hate Glenn Maxwell. You've nailed those two.
Hey, when you get your predictions wrong, I'm going to just keep reminding you. When you get them right, no, didn't remember you saying it.
Yeah,
that's how it works, isn't it?
It is. I think you got to go down and say the better team of the Trans-Tasman Tri-Series cricket game, the better team won. Australia were the better team in every single facet of the game. They were superb in Australia, great when they came across to New Zealand, engaged in some really good games of cricket. The batting, I thought New Zealand probably had moments in the series where they batted better than Australia, but Australia were just consistent. New Zealand had too many guys in the top 5 or 6 failing, whereas it seems every single time Australia play, Warner, Short, Maxwell, Finch, whoever's batting at 3, they always score and always chip in 20 or 30 runs each as a minimum. And if they don't, they get in and out quite fast. They might score 15 off 5. They're very, very good at this format of cricket.
Yeah. The fact is, there were 7 games played in that. Australia played 5 of them. They won all 5 of them.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. And also the Australian bowling, actually, I thought improved throughout the series. Because when I looked at the Australian team at the start of the series, I was like, well, I don't know a lot about Stan Lake. I don't know much about Richardson. I don't know a lot about Ty. I know Ashton Agar. I don't think he's all that great. Well, Ashton Agar had a great series. he was superb all the way along. And Ty Richardson and Stanlake played bloody awesome, especially in the final. So Australia have always had quite a lot of depth in their cricket. You talk back to their late 90s, early 2000 test teams. People like Stuart Law not getting a test career. What a player he would have been. And always the depth in bowling. The next man was always ready to come up. Australia have got a pretty good, solid bowling attack for the test team and one-day team. And then you've got these young lads starting to come through and make an impact. It's the Aussie way. There's always another one.
Yeah, talking of strength in depth, mate.
The Australian Test side are already in South Africa, whilst Australian ODI side were mopping up against New Zealand there. So, or the vast majority of their Test side, they're already touched down in South Africa because that's where they're moving on to next. So just putting an end to this Trans-Tasman try series. Martin Guptill, top run scorer, 258 runs, but the player of the series, Glenn Maxwell, he's just behind him on 233. But with his 3 not outs from his 5 innings, he averaged 116.5 with a strike rate of 166. So I reckon that was deserved, even though Guptill outscored him fractionally.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll let him have that one. Just that one.
Just the one. So just what I mentioned, South Africa, Australia, we know what we know what New Zealand are doing, we know what England are doing, but Australia have moved over to South Africa to kick off a test series against the Springboks, which gets underway March 1st in Durban. 4 test matches to be played. I've had a quick look through the squads, no great surprises either squad, either side, so, this should be an absolute cracking series. And on the back of India, what a great time to be watching cricket in South Africa. Had some amazing games there, and now you've got the Aussies coming to town. You just roll up, quit your job, go and watch cricket.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. India coming in, Australia coming in, pretty much the 2 best test teams in the world. What a time to be alive in South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely. And seamlessly, South Africa, India, the T20s. Let's put an end to that as well. That finished yesterday. So the third and final T20 was played yesterday. Saw India hold the nerve. They clinched the 2-1 series victory to go along with their 5-1 ODI series win as well, wasn't it? So white ball has definitely been won by India in South Africa.
Yeah.
So the first T20, I'll just quickly go through it. It's worth noting there's a couple of good performers here. The first T20, India won by 28 runs. The hosts brought the series level at 1-1 in the second game with a 6-wicket win with 8 balls remaining. New name, South Africa started well with 2 wickets for newcomer Junior Dala. Skiddy seamer, looks a nice player. He removed Rohit Sharma, the always dangerous Virat Kohli for next to nothing. Whilst Dhawan, 24, and Suresh Raina, 31, steadied the ship for a solid 5th wicket partnership between Manish Pandey, 79, and everybody's favourite MS Dhoni, 52. India 188 for 4 off their 20. In reply, South Africa knocked the runs off with time to spare, thanks to JP Duminy, 64 off 40. And reserve standing keeper Henrik Klaasen. He hits, smashed. I can't say hit, he absolutely smashed 69 off 30 with 7 sixes. I've got a notable mention here, Rob, you'll enjoy this. Indian leggy Chalal, he went for 64 of his 4 overs. Apparently Klaasen really quite fancies a bit of leg spin bowling, so, and he took him apart.
Wow,
you like them figures, don't you?
I do. That. It kind of puts Ben Wheeler's in perspective the other night. They're quite similar. However, what this guy didn't do, Ben Wheeler started bowling beamers, so he had to be taken out of the bowling attack. This guy's missed a trick.
I'm not sure a leg spinner bowling beamers would be too much to worry about. so let's get up to date then. So in the decider, which was played at the beautiful Cape Town, it's probably, apart from Trent Bridge, Cape Town, that's my favourite ground. Absolutely gorgeous. If you've not been there, if you have a chance to get there one day, get there. It's amazing. You've got Table Mountain in the background. You've got beautiful grass banks. You've got trees in the side of the stadium, and then most importantly, right next door, you've got the Castle Beer Brewery.
Oh,
so you're never gonna run out of a beer.
Oh, I was just about to say, isn't it cheap beer in South Africa?
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's been a while since I was there, but it's still good. So in the decider, India, they posted a good score, 172 for 4, with everybody's favourite Sikhar Dhawan and Suresh Raina again in the runs, hitting 47 and 43 apiece. That name again, Junior Dala, 3 for 35, as well as the run out of Dhawan. And Dhawan really looked set when he did get dismissed. So that was a great effort by him. So South Africa did everything they could to stay up with the required rate, but just ended up falling short. They needed 18 to win off the last over, but just as I say, just fell short. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was the bowler of the last over, I believe, and I've said his name because I believe on the first podcast I made an absolute pig's ear of his name. So I think I've made a better effort there.
Yeah, I think you've done well there. That's solid.
Yeah.
Solid again. We're back to being solid.
We're getting there. I think we just need a pronunciation podcast one week, just so we can go through all the names we've butchered.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Try them again.
That's a good idea. I'm just looking at Carl Darla. His actual first name is Carl, middle name is Junior. He was actually born in Zambia.
Good lad.
And he's, 3 T20 internationals so far. 7 wickets, an average of 15. A strike rate, incredibly, of 10. That's a wicket every 10 balls in T20 cricket so far. What a career this man's having so far.
He's exciting. He looks pumped up after his wickets. He's up for it. He's an exciting player. It's what the game needs. So I like him. Looks good. He's got a cool name as well, Junior Darla. He sounds like a footballer.
He does actually. Didn't he play in golf for Nottingham Forest the other year?
Yeah, get out of it. That was Carl Darla. So JP Duminy in the third and final T20, 55-41, notable mention. And I love this. 31-year-old Christian Yonker hit 49 of 24 on his T20 debut. T20 debut at 31. Good lad. Made the most of it. Well, nearly 49 of 24.
31.
Wickets are shared around the bowling attack, but well deserved win for India. Well done, India. So
that's the end of the series. Time to go home. It's South Africa won the Test Series 2-1. India, that 5-1, that brilliant 5-1 ODI win, and now 2-1 in the T20s.
Yeah.
What more do you say? I mean, we know Aussies are in town for the South Africans next, whilst India, they're heading over to Sri Lanka for a T20 tri-series with the hosts and Bangladesh.
Yeah. You've got to say, India and Australia, from all facets of cricket, Test cricket, ODI cricket, T20 cricket, making the T's cricket, backyard cricket, those guys are they're the elite. They're like your Man City-esque teams. They're like the top 4 of the Premier League, just those 2 teams at the moment. And then you've got good teams underneath it. You've got England, you've got New Zealand, you've got Pakistan, who are strong in certain formats that are just behind those teams. But you've got to say, India, Australia, all formats of the game are just above anything else that's out there.
Yeah, definitely. What's really impressing me at the moment as well, we've watched a lot of cricket in recent weeks, and a lot of players that are making the step up are coming in and contributing straight away. We're talking about Junior Darla, but we've seen it with the New Zealand team as well. There's lads that are coming in and establishing themselves. You know, the Aussies have had lads step up recently as well, some younger guys or some more senior players that haven't played as much international cricket, but they're getting their opportunities and they're taking it. So there's a lot of new names out there that we're all kind of racing to keep up with and understand who they are. And it's really exciting. It's a good time for cricket at the moment.
It is. Everyone likes the changing of the guard is sometimes a difficult thing in cricket. You see teams fall apart when stalwarts of the game go out
Australia.
there. It's exciting that the countries are doing such a good job. And I think that they're exposed to so much cricket as well, right? They're all playing... Yeah. We'll get onto this soon, but most guys coming through are playing 3 formats of the game. They're playing first-class cricket, 1 day in T20, and they are playing a hell of a lot of it. And playing against some decent players with the superstars that come in and play in the T20 leagues around the world. So they're kind of exposed to that next level and pressure, and they can come in and hit the ground.
Yeah, they're playing in front of big crowds as well. There's pressure on those games every time, isn't there? So it's setting them up nicely to step up into the international arena. So it's I'm excited. It's really good cricketers out there at the moment, and it's it'll be interesting where it goes. It's like IPL. You talk about changing the guard. You know, we spoke about that briefly last week, and it's a lot of big names were left out. A lot of newer names. You know, the exciting new talents. The Jofra Archers who've come from nowhere. It's about them now. They're not interested in these old names anymore. So, bring it on. Right. Rob, do you want to hear a little bit of county news?
Mate, I've been sat here for 25 minutes thinking, God, I hope he talks about some county news in a minute.
You know I'm always going to talk about some county news. So, Derbyshire, they've followed up the signing of our favourite Kiwi spinner Mitch Santner for the second half of the summer by signing South Africa seamer Dwayne Oliveira for the first half of the season. Great 1-2 punch there for Derbyshire. He's going to be the new ball bowler for them, or one of the two new ball bowlers, obviously, and should play in all three formats of the game for them for that first half of the summer. Just so you all are aware, Oliveira has played 5 test matches, taking 17 wickets, 7 of those coming in the 2 tests played in England last year. So he's already shown that he's quite adaptable to those English conditions and should be a good signing in Division 2 for Derbyshire.
Hell of a signing, mate. Hell of a signing. Over 290 first-class wickets as well, at an average of 21 in the South African franchise system they've got over there. That is some serious numbers.
Nice. There's some good players in play coming over to England this summer. It's I think I might have to take a few more trips down to Trent Bridge.
Yeah.
Not that I'll get to see Derbyshire too often because they're in Division 2 now and we're in Division 1.
Hey, little cheap shot. Throw it in there.
Yeah. It's all right. I don't think Notts. I'm not going to go into that. Let's not talk about Notts. Anyway, county news. Sam Northeast, another great name. Yes, so many good names. It's just, I love it. Sam Northeast, ex-Kent skipper. He's now completed a long-term move to Hampshire. He expressed a desire to move on, and that's been obviously been allowed. He was very in demand, though. Apparently, there's another 8 counties were interested in signing him, but he's finally made his decision. Moved, quite locally to Hampshire from Kent. Those who know a bit of English geography. So I imagine that's one of the main reasons. But also, it's a great setup there. They're competing, and this is a guy that a lot of people believe should be in consideration for England, probably the Test side, or at least one of the formats of English cricket. So he's a 28-year-old now. I imagine he's going to be very, very eager to prove himself at Hampshire with his aim of stepping up to play for England.
Yeah, you got to think that's the reasoning behind the move, right? You do see people move with one eye of basically you need to be in a higher profile club. Not that Kent's not a high profile club, but you need to do something different to get to that next level. You've almost become stale in the environment that you were in. And he's really pushing himself forward. I mean, 8,500 first class runs at just shy of 40. So he's been doing it year in, year out at the top level of first class cricket. And people have got to ask, why hasn't he been picked? We've picked Sam Robson, we've picked half a dozen other openers that have been in and out. What has this guy got to do to get to the next level?
It would take us 20 minutes to run through every single batsman that England have picked in the last 18 months or 2 years or so, wouldn't it?
It would. It actually would. It's a conveyor belt of openers. I'm still waiting for my call.
It's just that old school. England have gone back to where the sort of bad old days, especially the Test side, where they just can't decide, and it's just, I don't know. The selection just seems a bit confused at the moment, doesn't it? So we'll see. I mean, we'll have an update, or a preview, should I say, of the England-New Zealand Test series soon, and that'll be where we have a little bit of a chat about the squads and who we think maybe should be in, or who we think might end up being in those Test sides after that series as well. But that's for a little bit in the future. One last bit of county news: Billy Stanley. We've mentioned him already. He's made a real impression for Australia in the T20 ODI T20s. He's signed T20 to come and play in England for the T20s for Yorkshire. As Rob told us before, 6'8", big old pace man. He should be available for all of that competition, but it all depends on whether or not he gets selected for Australia in some games they've got. Yorkshire just seem to be claiming everybody. So Kane Williamson's going to be the second overseas player in the T20. We've already spoke about they've got Steve Pujara playing for him as well.
Steve Pujara.
Steve Pujara. Hey, that's what he's known as in the dressing room.
Oh, Big Steve. The Stanley story is an interesting one, mate. He's 23 years old. He was a solid AFL player growing up and kind of had the decision between the two different things. His dad played professional AFL football for a few years.
Oh, wow.
But what's great about Stanley is he came through the system. He played Queensland under-19s. He played Australia under-19s. He's actually only played 2 first-class games, 6 one-day games, and 25 T20 games, of which 6 of his T20 games have been internationals. So he's not got a lot of experience, but he's obviously come on. He's hit the scene hard, especially in T20 cricket, and picked up, he's got 29 wickets in 25 games, average of 24. Economy rate's slightly high, but it's something different. It's someone bowling from 6'8".
Yeah.
I've faced tall guys in the nets before. I hate it. All of a sudden, the ball's bouncing near your head every ball.
Yeah, if you can't get to the pitch, it's not fun, is it?
No, definitely not. So great signing, and county cricket feels we're about to pop a little bubble, pop the balloon in a second. But county cricket, in terms of the overseas quality coming in, we're winning, boys. It's going to be a cracking county season.
Bang right, buddy, bang right. And just with talent, when you know, you know. It don't matter how old you are, what experience you've had, how many games of cricket you've played. If you see a guy, it don't matter, you might have not been in the same form the previous year, but when you see somebody who's performing in a certain way, when you know, you know. Simple as that. Get them in, get them playing. There's no point carrying drinks, You're not learning that way, are you?
You look back some of the great players that have come in at a young age. You got Tendulkar that came in at a young age. Alistair Cook was 19 when he made his debut in India. Again, he was on the radar. He was on the radar, but he was 19 still. He'd scored runs against the Aussies in a tour match, and it's like, okay, cool. Alistair Cook, next man up. We think he's good enough. If you think someone's good enough, just get him in.
Exactly, and it's temperament. It's not necessarily, ability as such or techniques as such. You can work through those things, especially as a bowler. As a batsman, especially top order batsman, it's a little bit more of a delicate matter if you've got a bit of a technical problem. But it's temperament. If you've got the right temperament, you will beat those players that have got a better talent. We've seen it too many times over the years, even with England. The Ram Prakashas of this world and others. Don't want to just pick on him, but just there's been plenty of players like that who have had all the talent in the world. Graham Hick, others. But just couldn't consistently do it at the very, very top level for England. It's all about temperament. Strauss, Cook, Trescothick, all those boys, they came in, even Vaughan, not with the best averages, but they came in because they had a great temperament and they went on to become absolutely solid, brilliant. And in the case of Cook, world class, probably one of the best players that's ever played the game for England.
Yeah, you talk about Alistair Cook, you're kind of in GOAT territory, aren't you? The greatest of all time. As an England opener, I don't think he's going to set records that England players will not break. I'm putting it down. I'm calling it right now. I'm locking it up, baby. Nobody will beat Alistair Cook's amount of runs in Test cricket for England while I'm alive. I'm putting it out there.
You feeling confident? All right, and does he get to number one in the test runs?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's all right, killed that one. Right then, the big news this week, it seems like it's been all over the news in the world of cricket, is white ball only. It's just suddenly come to the fore, hasn't it? Last week we spoke about Adil Rashid. He's only playing white ball cricket this summer for Yorkshire. Renegotiated his contract, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't want to play red ball cricket anymore. We made the point as well, I think we both agreed that Rashid, he knows his game. He probably understands that he's not being looked at seriously for a test match place for England. He's 33 now, I believe. So it makes a lot of sense. We've had some comments from David Willey. He's an England and Yorkshire teammate from Rashid, who's expressed his sympathy with the decision to say that he's also considered the very same move. He's an interesting one. I think he's worth watching as well, because I think he could be one that maybe joins Rashid very soon. He's obviously playing for England at the moment in the ODI. He's interesting. I'm just going to run this by you, Rob. He moved to Yorkshire from Northants in 2015. He wanted to play test match cricket. He said that when he first joined, he wanted to play test match cricket. But in 2 years, he's only played 6 county championship games for them. You can understand his frustration, can't you?
Yeah, If you want to play test match cricket, you go and play first class cricket somewhere. If you want to play one day international cricket for England, you go and play one day cricket. If you want to play T20 international cricket, you go and play T20 cricket. What he's saying and what he's doing are two totally different things.
I think part of it for him though is been his availability. He's had some injuries, but also he's been playing. During the summers, we have so much T20 cricket and white ball, overall white ball cricket that he's not been able to play. And then maybe, Yorkshire have been such a strong county, so many good players that he's not necessarily got his place, in the 4-day lineup. So, you've got to look back and question his move. We spoke about North East making that move to Hampshire. You would imagine he's got a nailed-on spot in that top of the order where he's going to play week in, week out. David Willey goes to Yorkshire. He's not guaranteed a game of cricket. How is he going to do that? So it's a bit of a questionable move for him, maybe in hindsight. Yeah, but I brought him up first because I just think just building the story a little bit here, and I've got a feeling that he might be one very soon to take the same decision as Adil Rashid. Now, the big name, the big name that we've heard about this week, which was heck of a surprise to me, that's joined Rashid, is Alex Hales. Not Alex Hales. He's signed an 18-month contract for white ball cricket only for Nottinghamshire. This one got me in the guts, mate. I was genuinely kind of frustrated about this one. So basically, no Red Ball County Championship cricket for Hales, who, in my opinion, was on the fringes of a recall to the Test setup. And if things didn't go well for one or two players, maybe Livingston, maybe Vince in the New Zealand Test match series, there was every chance that Hales would be coming into that Test side. I just find it absolutely staggering, this one from Hales. He chose to bat at number 5 in the last summer for Notts. Did a really good job. He hit a triple century in one game. I can't remember who it was against now, but I'm sure he hit a triple century. Just scored a bucket load of runs, and he had a real chance of getting it in. So just a short-sighted and not the greatest decision, in my opinion.
You've got to wonder if something's changed, because Hales, he did bat at 5, and the year before I think he went from opener to number 3 halfway through the season, and he scored good first-class runs for a good Notts team. And you've got to think those moves are, one, Notts want to try and make him work best in the order, but two, Alex Hales is going, I'm not going to open for England anymore. I've almost accepted that, but I'm good enough to bat in the middle order. And that has got to have gone into those decisions. So you've got to wonder how disillusioned maybe he's become with some part of the England setup to make him go, I'm never going to be part of this. Maybe he's had that read to him. Maybe he's been told, you're not in our thoughts, we don't see you as a Test cricketer. It's hard to know, but it's hard to take as well.
If that was the case.
It would be.
I mean, if that was the case, I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if it was, to be honest, because it's not like we've got half a dozen guys sat there ready to come and play Test match cricket at the moment. Hales has got... He's got it. He's got whatever it is you need to play international cricket. He's not intimidated by the quicks, on the quick bouncy tracks against the Aussies and all the rest of it. He's got a technique that can take a game away. I mean, we spoke about that the one-day final at Lords last year that Notts beat Surrey. I rewatched it the other day. He hit 170 odd, 180 odd, not out. It was just an incredible knock. But he didn't play many, biffing shots. It was proper cricket shots a lot of the time. And for him, coming in at 5 with Stokes at 6, for example, if you wanted to do it that way, I don't know exactly how you do the lineup. Maybe you have Bairstow at 5, Hales at 4, or Bairstow at 4, Hales at 5, whatever you want to do. It would just be destructive.
It'd be an awesome
so
team.
I just find it shocking. I really do. I just think it's a exactly. I just think it's a bad decision from Hales, and I genuinely think it's one that he's going to come to regret. He's 28. He's coming to the peak of his career. He starts the season well for Notts this year because he's not in the IPL. Let's say he plays the first few championship games, scores a hat load of runs or bucket load of runs, whatever. He's in that England side. That's the way I saw it. So really gutted for that one. Obviously, with the Notts bias again, it's a little bit more than usual. But I'm really surprised by Hales.
You just touched on a point there, Rich. The IPL, he didn't get selected for the IPL. Is that what he sees as the pinnacle? Because that's the big money, that's the big cheeses, going and playing in the IPL. He's not been picked. His form's slightly off in that form of cricket. Has he made a decision going, I want that money because I'm not going to play forever, so I'm going to make a decision because other people are making it to not play first-class cricket? Could that be the decision maker?
I think you could be onto it, mate. And this is where this is a sad thing. It's money, isn't it? It is money. He's gone all Rod Tidwell on us. Vague Jerry Maguire reference there.
Show me the money!
What else can it be? What else can it be, honestly? I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think he's probably looking at his white ball cricket and just saying, I need to focus on this. I've missed out on IPL. I'm gutted. I can't do a Scrooge McDuck and start swimming in my own money. Because I'm not going to get it this year, and I've got to go and play that poor county cricket where I'm going to be really well paid, but not ridiculously well paid, which is what the IPL would have given him. Yeah, he's basically going to turn himself into a Kevin Peterson, isn't he? Just basically going around the world playing white ball cricket. Just a gun for sale, a soldier of fortune, or whatever you want to call him. Yeah,
there's plenty of them these days, mate. But the difference being Hales is 28, and the guys that do it, other than one or two West Indians, they're mid 30s maybe. It's different points of career. Hales has got a hell of a lot to give to international cricket, and I think it's a shame that he'll never get the opportunity to do it at Test level again.
Exactly. Just mentioning the age there as well, it's worth just bringing a point in here. Nasser Hussain, again, somebody that I really respect, as I said earlier, been all over this subject. And talking about Hales and Rashid, he just calls the news amazing. He told Sky Sports it just reflects the changing face of international cricket in business decisions. It's so sad, isn't it? But that is what they're making, business decisions. And he went on to say they're doing the maths and realising they can make more money travelling the world playing white ball cricket. And then he also, just on the age point again, he's made the point, before we saw the likes of KP and Brendan McCullum playing out into the sunset of their careers, IPL, wherever you can play a bit of T20. But when these guys are getting younger, a 28-year-old Hales, that is when it really becomes an issue. Are we going to get players that are just, I do not play any red ball cricket, I only play white ball cricket? It worries me.
Yeah, agreed. It does me as well, mate. It could possibly be the thing that leads to the demise of Test match cricket. Now, Test match cricket has got, it does have its detractors and people that don't enjoy it, and the crowds are down and all that sort of jazz. But the one thing that could really take away from it is Test cricket does not have the best players from all over the world playing in it. That would be huge for the game of cricket, huge for Test cricket, and I really hope this is not the first step in that direction, because as soon as it starts trending and people get younger and younger, becoming specialists, it's not going to end pretty.
No, exactly, and I'm sure you share my opinion as well. I mean, for me, Test match cricket is still the pinnacle. That's the main stuff. That's the main course. 2020 is dessert, maybe. ODI is a starter, if you want to use a bad analogy.
100%.
But I just love Test cricket, and wherever England tour, England take fans. So generally, if it's Australia, it's sold out. If it's New Zealand, they're going to be packed. West Indies, it's going to be packed. Everywhere we go, even in India, when they tour at home, they're selling out stadiums for Test match cricket. When they go abroad, there's always a good contingent of Indian fans wherever you look. It's there is support there, but there are some lesser supported nations playing Test cricket, and I accept that. But the game has to sort itself out sharpish, and there's got to be some way of sorting this out. You can't just have, we're going to lose these players. Some of these players aren't even going to bother with playing international cricket in white ball, I don't think, at some point. They're just going to want to play all the franchises. It's going to get to that point. Why bother playing? Why bother turning up for England and playing T20s when you can be playing in a league somewhere? It's much easier just to be playing all these franchises and on a central contract being told where you can play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look at it very cynically. It's a risk to the Test game. I can't remember who's. There's been a quote this week, mate. I think you might have it. Owen Morgan talking about this, hasn't he? Talking about Test cricket. Have you got that in front of you, mate, or do you want me to rattle that through?
I can't see it.
Don't you worry, mate. I've got it in front of me. Don't worry, I'm the organised one. Basically, Owen Morgan, he went on to say, I've got something to say about him in a minute as well, but he's got opinions. But let's listen to his first. So he's just said that Test match cricket has had a lot to worry about for quite a while now. If something was going to be done about it, it probably should have been done already.
Yeah.
That gives you a real insight into the player's mind, doesn't it, of how they're looking at Test match cricket. I mean, obviously he's a little bit of a, he had a go at it before, didn't he, and came up well short. So maybe that's why he's got a bit of a negative opinion of it. But it has to be taken seriously still.
It definitely does. It's almost... I'm trying to liken it, and the only thing I can liken it to really in terms of sport is football. How clubs, it's not franchises, but it's clubs own the power of football because they're the ones
like
with
Premier
the money.
League.
And rugby, I think I've mentioned it before on here, is going through the same thing in New Zealand where players leave who don't think they've got a chance of playing for the All Blacks on a regular occurrence. They leave and go to France and get paid big bucks. And it used to be the older guys. However, the trend in the last 6 months is there's a hell of a lot of good young talent just going, nah, I'm going to France. I'm going to get paid over there. Because what they do is they sign a contract with Rugby New Zealand and they have to play in the country. That's how the countries have always kept that power. But France are just like, hey, come and play here. We've got all the money. And it's gonna happen with cricket. And all cricket and rugby can do is look at football and go, international football means so little to people these days, to the players. We've got to learn from their mistakes. We've got to learn from what they've done wrong, and we've got to somehow control. Maybe it's a global season. I was talking to someone earlier today about rugby, and the only way I can think to fix the problem is to actually have a global season where everybody is the set international windows for all the different teams, all the countries playing rugby at the same time, so everyone gets the same rest season. Maybe that's what goes on with cricket somewhere down the line. I don't know. It's a high-level idea, but some sort of common formalisation for the season that means people can play a bit of everything still, and the countries can keep control somehow.
Yeah, one suggestion that has come out about that, mate, linked onto that point, is England coach Trevor Bayliss, the Aussie, who's he's really improved England in white ball cricket. So you've got to give him credit there. Red ball, not so much, but he's made a really good point. He's basically said that if it was up to him, he would not play T20 internationals. Okay, he basically said he'd leave it to the club franchises to play the format and then bring it in the 6 months or so in advance of the once every 4 years T20 World Cup. I think that's a really good point. That's one way of removing some cricket from the calendar, because that's another point. And although I'm critical of some of these players, and I am a test match man, when you kind of break it all down, there is too much cricket being played. Players are away from homes for far too long. We've seen situations, haven't we, where players have broken down, have been burnt out, suffer from depression, and all those sort of things that can trigger from the amount of cricket and the amount of times they're touring around the world. Let's rip out the T20. We don't need it. Let's not play it. When we're building up to World Cup, fine, let's play it. Otherwise, you are going to get burnout from players. You are going to get burnout from coaches. Bayliss has gone on to say, why not just employ a specialist T20 coach? It's a different game almost, isn't it?
100% different game.
Yeah, it's close to 50 over, but 50 over has a lot of downtime. Those 20-odd overs in the middle, that's more like Test cricket in some respect. You're just knocking the ball around, or at least it used to be a few years ago. But I think that's a starting point. Rip out the T20 internationals out of the schedule, get rid of it completely, build up to World Cups, and then let the franchises do it. And then at least you're not having that conflict of interest between players and where they want to be, and it gives them a bit more downtime in between games. Yeah,
it's a great idea, and fair play to him for coming out and having the balls to turn around and say, hey, this format of the game shouldn't be at the international level. It should be at franchise level, where guys can earn good money, and it opens up time for them to actually play international cricket in the other formats. So, yeah, fair play to him for saying that. But it is going to be a long, hard discussion over the next probably couple of years. I think it will take them to even formalise something to try and fix this if it does become an issue. This may just be a one or two and done. I think we both agree that there is a genuine fear for Test cricket, and this may well become the latest trend.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're at a point now where, because Hales has come out on the back of Rashid, we're kind of panicking a little bit. We're looking around going, oh my God, who's going to be next? Who's going to be next? It might well be that it's just Rashid and it's just Alex Hales. Nobody else does it. But if this is the first couple of drips of the and then the kind of the flow comes from that, then it's a worry. If it's a David Willey, I like David Willey as a cricketer, but is he a Test match cricketer? Probably not. Liam Plunkett's another name that's been bandied around. He's getting on in age now. Sorry, Philadelphia Eagles fan. Liam Plunkett. It's totally relevant, honest. He's another one, but he's getting on in age again. So if he makes that decision, he just wants to play white ball, we understand it. It's if those younger players, if those mid-20s or those even younger players, even the guys that haven't even played for England yet, if they make that decision, that's when it becomes a serious matter. At the moment, it's a bit of a headline. I would like to think that it's just a bit of a thing. We're building up to a lot of white ball cricket in the next 12 months or so. Maybe it's just a reaction to that. Maybe it's a reaction to people missing out on IPL, etc., etc. But I don't know. I hope it's not just about the money, because one thing I just want to touch on as well is I have this argument with football as well. Players say in a sporting career it's a short career, so they have to earn as much money as is humanly possible in that short time before the end of their career. Now, I don't deny them that. Fair play, you've got to make some money. But nobody's telling these boys that they have to retire from the world at the age of 30 or 35. they've had a massively privileged start to life by playing international sport or sport as a professional. They can then go and take those massive bags of money and set up a business or invest it, do whatever they want. So I don't like this idea of I need to earn every single penny I can possibly earn whilst I'm playing cricket. I'm going to sack off Notts, who have looked after me, Alex Hales, to go and play IPL or go and play franchises around the world rather than pay back Nottinghamshire.
Yeah.
You can make money, but why do you have to be, I don't want to use the term, but greedy?
Yes.
And just to make all the money. Nobody's stopping you from making money after you retire from cricket.
Yeah, exactly. You look at football and you can't even fathom, like, the lower guys, like guys in the Championship earning 20 grand a week to kick a football around. Now, we both love football, but it's so much money you can't get your head around it. And the guys at cricket are earning so much money. It's almost like they're scared that the bubble's going to burst.
Yeah, and football's a great example as well. You cannot get near football now, or footballers. The game is completely detached from reality. You see players on Premier League when they're going into a ground, they've got their headphones on, walking past kids, begging for an autograph. They're not interested in linking in with people. They're on 100, 200, 300 grand a week. They've got no idea anymore about the the man in the street or the lady in the street. I don't want cricket to go that same way. Cricket used to be a sport where you're quite close to the player. Yep. I've been on England tours, and I've had a drink with England player, the odd England player here and there, or they've been in the same bar as us. They've mixed. They've been happy to mix. With all this money that goes around, you're going to get to the point where players are being warned by agents or other people. People will be after this, after that. Don't trust anyone. Don't do that. It removes people away from the spectator and the supporter, and it just, that distance, that's what starts sort of hacking away the love of a game.
It does.
And I just hope that doesn't happen. Can I just have one last little rant on Hales? And I apologise if I've had too much rant on this. But from a Notts point of view, Nottinghamshire in the last 12 months or so have lost Michael Lum and Greg Smith. Brendan Taylor's gone back to Zimbabwe. We obviously sadly lost James Taylor to his heart illness defect a little bit before that. So that's 4 batsmen that have been lost to Nottinghamshire in the last just over 12 months or so, last season or so. So with Hales going, that's 5. That's basically your top 5 that's gone. I think that's massively selfish from a Nottinghamshire point of view. We brought the guy in from a relatively young age. We gave him every opportunity. And at the age of 28, when we're desperate after losing 3 players this summer, 3 batsmen this summer, we're desperate for him to step up and be a senior player. And he's decided to go, no, I don't fancy it. I'm just going to play white ball, thanks.
Yeah. It's very much looking out for number 1. If it works best for him and he's done with first-class cricket for good, cool. I can live with that. But if it's just you know what, I'm going to take a year or 2, boys, and just play some white ball cricket. I'll be back in a couple of years' time when you've got a new top 6. That won't sit as well with me, because Nottinghamshire are going to be in a position where they've gone up a league. They're in Division 1. They need a solid top 6, and they're hemorrhaging players at left, right, and centre. And Hales could have been a massive, massive player in Division 1 cricket. And there's no better way to get called up to England Test team than scoring runs in Division 1 cricket.
You'd think it's logical, wouldn't you? It's a bit like old KP the other year when he was begging to get back in the England setup. He's like, he wants to play the Test side. When was the last time you played red ball cricket, Kev?
Yeah.
Oh, about 12 months ago. Well, that's not why you're not in the team, is it, mate?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's not,
but credit to kudos to Peterson at the time. He did go and get a Surrey contract and play some first-class cricket, score some runs, but the damage was already done.
Oh, too right. I think we have different opinions on Mr. Peterson, don't we?
We do. I've still got him in a Valentine's Day card I've never given him, and I think you're burning him above the garage.
I'm not a fan. So, hey, just a quick one. I said I was going to just put an opinion on Mr. Morgan, Owen Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, he's had his say on Test cricket. He seems to think there's problems, and there's not been, we've not done enough to solve problems, blah, blah. He's not played red ball cricket since 2015. He's just been a white ball journeyman. And now, funnily enough, after he don't get picked for the IPL, he's apparently said he's available to play for his county. So again, the cynic in me just says that he's missed out on a bit of a payday there. So suddenly he wants to go and play a bit of county again.
Well, he's got all this free time on his hand where he would have been travelling around India and earning $1 million. So he's like, you know what? That 150 grand playing county cricket, it's not so bad these days.
I really want to do it. And if I was Middlesex, his county, I would be looking to, no thanks, mate, we're going to bring in a young lad. You know, there's been young blokes that have played for the last 2 summers. No, no, thank you. Right, I feel like I've got it suitably out of my system. Hopefully, we don't have another half dozen players next week. Otherwise, I might lose the plot.
Yeah. Do you feel cleansed? Do you feel like it's almost been a counselling session where you're able to open up and just talk about your feelings?
Yeah, we haven't recorded this last bit, have we? That's just been me ranting. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%, mate. No, that won't go on air at all.
Love it. Look, I expect people to disagree with my take. I hope that a lot of people will agree as well. But get your comments out there. Hit us up on Twitter. Get on YouTube. Put your comments on there. Let us know how you think about this, because this is going to be an ongoing conversation. I'm absolutely sure of that.
It definitely will. It's a watch this space.
Amen. Do you know what though? We've got a player that was never close to my heart, but is suddenly very close to my heart. Do you want to know why and who it is?
Yeah, go on.
Stuart Meeker, Surrey Quick. Yeah. He has just signed for Auckland, so he's going to finish up the red ball, the equivalent of the county championship in New Zealand, which is called, Rob,
Plunket Shield.
Plunket Shield, that's amazing. That's better than Trans-Tasman Tri-Series, isn't it?
Rolls off the tongue.
I like the Plunket Shield. Anyway, Stuart Meeker. Apparently Auckland were looking for someone with a bit of gas. I think that means wheels, quick. So he's signed up to finish off the season, the Kiwi season. And he's doing it with the intention to be prepared for the upcoming and the start of the English County Championship season.
Good on him.
Amen. I love it. What a guy.
Yeah.
As everyone's going towards white ball, this man's saying, hell no, I'm a red ball. I want to play for England. There's going to be some bowling places up for grabs in the next year or so for England. He's making every effort to get ready for it. I love it. Mason Crane went over and played for in Australia and played a bit for New South Wales. Meeker playing in Auckland. This is what we want. Get them boys around the world playing cricket. Red ball cricket.
Yeah, great for English cricket. Great for New Zealand cricket to have someone like Stuart Meeker coming in. The logical fit is that Lockie Ferguson will be in the New Zealand Test team. He bowls 150 clicks and there's a real decent. You'll see it in the summer. He's wheels. He's genuine wheels. And Meeker,
gas.
When I saw Meeker bowling a few years ago, he was genuine wheels bowling at 150 clicks. I lived out here a while now, mate. I don't call it MPH. I call it clicks.
Clicks. I miss KPH, but that's another story.
Yeah. But Meeker will be a superb fit. And how good for Auckland, They've really got a star, I think, that's going to come in and take wickets in the Plunket Shield, because Auckland need a couple of wins. They're in third. There's only 6 teams in the Plunket Shield in New Zealand, and it's based on regions. So it's not per city. It's like an area of the country, a bit like we
Australia.
have shires in England. So Auckland are in third, won 3, lost 2, 59 points, but it's a little bit of a gap. 21 points behind Wellington at the top, who Tom Blundell, who made his Test debut for New Zealand this year, scored an impressive double or triple 100 in one of the games, and they have been smashing people. So Auckland desperately need results. The way the season works, they play 5 first-class games, break off to the T20s, and then they come back and finish off the Plunket Shield competition post-Christmas. So it's going to be a decent run-in. Hopefully get to a few games, and hopefully get to see Stuart Meeker playing at Eden Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to report on that one, mate, if you do. But yeah, I'm really pleased for him anyway. So that's a good one. We've kind of, because of the time of this, just put it out there. We were supposed to record this on Friday, and now it's Sunday. Well, in England anyway, it's Sunday. Oh, it is in New Zealand as well, isn't it? Why are time zones so confusing, Rob?
They're massively confusing, mate. I struggle every single time.
Anyway, but because of that, we were going to do. Being Friday, we were going to do a good preview of the New Zealand-England ODI series. Obviously, we're one game in now. We've already covered that. So I don't think there's any point in really doing a massive preview of it, because we're already up and running. There's no point in us predicting lineups, because there's already been a lineup. But I don't know if you just want to maybe just talk briefly about it, mate. Obviously, it's really good that Stokes has been recording. He's playing. I think it's going to be a cracking series. We've already seen that. 4 balls to spare, a 6 to get New Zealand over the ropes. Wickets, runs. What else can we expect, mate? What's your prediction for this series? And just anything else you want to talk about briefly for this ODI series?
Yeah, two evenly matched teams. Very, very even. England have come off the back of a huge win on Australia in white ball cricket and are one of the best white ball teams in the world. Luckily, so are New Zealand. So it's a bit of a mouth-watering contest. New Zealand can be hit and miss. That's the thing. If Guppy and Munro get going early in the game, holy cow, it is going to be a massive scoring contest. I think when New Zealand toured England last, there were huge scores of 300, 350 games. Guppy getting runs over there, England getting runs. So it's going to be an absolutely epic series. My players to watch: one, Ben Stokes, back in an England shirt. Expect some decent stuff from him. Don't expect the world, but expect it to make a difference. The other one, Moeen Ali. I think he is absolutely pivotal to England winning in this contest. And Adil Rashid. Adil Rashid is one of the best one-day and T20 bowlers going. Those two as a spin tandem, if they can get 20 decent overs going at 5.5 overs out of those two, New Zealand are really, really going to struggle. And they can be like England where they're not the best exponents of spin. From an England point of view, I think you've got to look at Joe Root. Joe Root will come out of the Australian Ashes tour a wee bit disappointed that he never went on to play the match-winning innings. He played a lot of good innings, but good innings don't always win international contests. And we saw today he made a good 71, but Joe Root, you got out with 15 overs left. So you've taken... He plays that role where he works the ball around in the middle of the innings so well, just accumulating runs, and he got out with 15 overs to go. Joe Root is going to have this series, where he is going to go on and he's going to get a couple of big scores.
That's hope talking, isn't it? Or is that an absolute solid locked-in prediction?
I'm locking it in. I am locking it in. I'm going New Zealand 1 and 2, Guppy and Munro to get big runs. I'm going Mitchell Santner with the ball for New Zealand as the top wicket taker.
Nice.
I'm going Joe Root with most runs with England, and I'm going Adil Rashid most wickets England as well.
I'm definitely joining you on Rashid for top wickets for England, absolutely. And do you know what's? It's really interesting. You start looking at the sides as a comparison. You know, Hales and Roy, if that partnership gets back together, Guptill Munro opening partnership, they're very similar. It's fireworks or nothing, isn't it? And then you've got skipper Kane Williamson at 3, you've got Root at 3. They're the mainstays of both sides, aren't you? Morgan versus Ross Taylor. You know, again, experienced players, good, solid one-day players. You know, then you get into your all-rounders. But you look at the bowling as well. You've got Ish Sodhi and Mitch Santner versus Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid. Yeah. They match up so well. The seam attack, Trent Boult, Tim Southey. You know, against your maybe your Wokes and who would we say? I don't know. It's Curran, isn't it, in a minute? But Curran doesn't really compare to those. But Wokes and a Wood, if Wood comes into the side, or Willie's in there at the moment. But I don't know. I think I can see New Zealand getting this series. I'm not confident. I look at that England ODI squad, and I know they did really well in Australia. I absolutely accept that. But I was surprised they did so well there. And I'm looking at this squad, and I'm going to be surprised if they actually win this series.
Yeah, definitely.
That goes against it a little bit, but I look at the squad. I look at players like Mark Wood, David Willey, Tom Curry. Tom Curry's done brilliantly. Don't get me wrong, he's done brilliantly, but I just don't understand where it's come from yet.
No.
Moeen Ali as well. He's got to step up. The man's got to start putting some performances together. Johnny Bairstow at the top of the order at the minute. It surprised me. Yeah. But then saying that, Hales has got to pull his finger out as well. You know, he's gone from being my best pal to I don't really not really that bothered about.
Let's call it then, Rich. Let's call it. What is going to be the final score of the series?
Right, we're going to have at least one Duckworth Lewis, aren't we, with all that rainfall? Because it always rains in the Shire, doesn't it?
It always rains in the Shire.
Right, it's 1-0 at the minute. Let's see. So I can't see it being a 3-2. 3. I don't know anymore. I've lost my nerve. What do you reckon, Rob?
I am going, just FYI, the next second one-day international is down in Mount Maunganui, which is not far from Hobbiton, which is Shireland. And it's not far. It's like an hour or so. I am going for a 3-2 New Zealand win, with New Zealand going 3-1 up. They'll lock out the series before the 5th.
The only thing that was holding me back was I thought there might be one game that gets called off. If you reckon all 5 will get finished up, I'm joining you on the 3-2.
That is a great point. There's a monsoon. There's due next week.
It all depends on the rain. That's all I'm going to say. But I reckon New Zealand are going to pinch it.
Good. It's a strange situation, but the longer you live somewhere, the more you swing towards the country you live in.
Hey, no, I'm just being a realist. No, I love it. I'm a massive England cricket fan. I love me England cricket, but at the moment, I don't know what it is. I'm not convinced, and I'm really excited about this New Zealand side. There's some players in there that I absolutely adore. The Kane Williamsons of this world, Guptills, etc. So I just think that they've got enough at the moment, and they're on form. They're in their season at home. I just think they're going to have enough to take it this time.
Yeah, there is one more point. While we're on New Zealand cricket, they had the Ford Trophy final this weekend just gone, and I say this weekend just gone, as in it was probably on today down in New Plymouth, and Auckland. So we've got English contingency. Stuart Meeker going across to Auckland. They actually made it through to it's the 50 over competition, the one day final.
Oh, okay.
So they made it all the way over. Central Districts batted first, got 197. Now, massive jug avoidance going on in this team. Tom Bruce batting at 5, got 49 off 48 balls and holed out. Will Young, and not the singer, actually the captain of the Central Districts, he got 49. I know, great outdated X Factor or whatever it was called back in the day reference. Doug Bracewell.
I can't.
You don't know. You don't know, do you?
What?
You don't know.
I'm lost. Say that again.
Simon Cowell. What was Simon Cowell? Pop Idol. It was Pop Idol.
Oh, no. Yeah, anyway, moving on.
Doug Bracewell, big Doug Bracewell, New Zealand player, all-rounder. He picked up 40, but 197's a bit short. 46 overs down, but Lockie Ferguson, you'll hear a lot about him in the England-New Zealand series. Real wheels about him, 3 for 28 off 9.4. Very, very solid performance. And Mark Chapman bowls a bit of left-arm spin, who made his debut for New Zealand. Chapeau. He got 3 for 41 off 8 overs, so he's got a bit to offer on the spin department. I can guarantee that because he got me out caught and bowled in nets once. Simple. Lucky I hit it. And in reply, Auckland kind of strolled home. They 201 for 4 off 32 overs. Absolutely romped. Jeetan Raval, who's the test opener for New Zealand, so you'll hear about him. He managed to get 47, jug avoidance. Glenn Phillips, 21-year-old young lad, he managed to get 63 at the top of the order. And Mark Chapman got 47 and got out towards the end. So Auckland romping home, giving themselves a Ford Trophy win. And guess who the umpire was on the day?
I don't know. Who was the umpire on the day?
Billy Bowden.
Oh, Bill. Oh, Billy's back. Love a bit of Billy.
Good.
Crocky finger Bill. I'm so pleased to hear that he's still in the game. Good man.
I know. So that is T20 and one-day cricket done and dusted in New Zealand. It's all about finishing off the Plunket Shield over the next month or so.
Let's go. Let's win that Plunket.
Yeah, go Auckland.
Go Auckland, yeah. Just so we are covering absolutely everything that in the world of cricket at the moment, I just want to mention very, very quickly in ending, Pakistan Super League T20 competition is underway and being played in the UAE. I think Abu Dhabi and Dubai are sharing the fixtures. Although, brilliant news. The semi-finals and final are set to be played in Pakistan. Hopefully, fingers crossed, in Lahore for the semis and Karachi in the final. After the issues they've had, obviously, over there, the attacks, etc., on the Sri Lanka bus, blah, blah. Really, fingers crossed that this all works and it comes good. As for the makeup of the tournament, 6 teams all have 8 overseas players each. Not quite IPL on the name, but it's still big names. We've got Kumar Sangakkara, we've got Shane Watson, Brendan McCullum, some bloke called Peterson.
Oh,
can't remember. I can't really place him, but yeah, he's there as well. So it gives you an idea, you've got some kind of older players there. But it's also, well-stocked West Indies. They've got a really good representation. Andre Russell, Dwayne Darren Bravo, Karen Pollard, Sunil Nareen, Darren Sammy. Love Darren Sammy. England have thrown a few guys over there as well. Timil Mills, Chris Jordan, Jason Roy, Liam Dawson, Samit Patel.
Here you go, Samit.
Yeah, Ricky Vessels, who is an Englishman now, doesn't sound it, and Ravi Bipara, as well as white ball professional Alex Hales and Owen Morgan. So plenty of talent on the show. I'm not letting it go. Plenty of talent on the show, and obviously loads of Pakistani talent as well. as well as a lot of the more experienced, let's say, such as Shida Freedy and Misbah Hack. I think Misbah Hack's like 41 now, unless I've completely misread that. Looking at the teams, I like the look and the sound of the Multan Sultans.
Multan Sultans.
Look, names and how they sound mean a lot to me, and I might be making a little bit of a joke about it, but I actually do genuinely like the look of that team. So that's my pick for the tournament. You've heard it here first.
Wow, I'm going to go a bit left field. There's a couple of teams that kind of pick my fancy. There's Karachi Kings, who have got a pretty awesome team. So they've got Shahid Afridi, they've got Usman Khan, they've got Ravi Bapara, Mohammed Amir, also Luke Wright and Mitchell Johnson.
Bottisford's finest.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still playing. Not in a bad way, but it's just he's gone under the radar the last couple of years. The other one is Islamabad United, who's got Mohamed Sami, Andre Russell, useful players, JP Dumini, and as well as they've got Hales, Willie, as the supplementary players as well. So, yeah, it'll be quite interesting to watch. It doesn't get the same buzz like the IPL or the Big Bash, but it's good to see Pakistan getting something pretty serious going on.
I think it's amazing, mate. And I think if they can get the semi-finals and the finals played in Pakistan, that would be awesome. It's a first step back, isn't it, to them maybe looking for a test, playing international cricket back in Pakistan. But my Multan Sultans, mate, I've got Shoaib Malik skippering, Darren Bravo, Imran Tahir, Junaid Khan, I've got Karan Pollard, I've got Tassara Pereira, Sangakkara, Umar Gull.
I love it the way it's I've got. I've got.
Boys.
It's like on Football Manager where you sign a load of players and I've got Messi playing at Rochdale, mate.
He's my boy. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. We're not going to go into it in too much detail, but we will keep an eye on it like we do about all cricket.
Yeah, no,
but
that's
that wraps us up today, buddy. We've dragged over a little bit more, but 1 week we are going to get to our aim of keeping it under an hour. So I apologise if you're still with us now. I thank you. We thank you, I'm sure, and wrap it up, Rob.
Yeah, it has been awesome, mate. As always, thank you for all the feedback on the first 3 episodes, guys, the YouTube comments and the amount of views. We've actually hit around 200 views across multiple platforms, so that's a massive thank you for us on that. Thanks for subscribing. Check us out on Twitter. It is Leading Edge Pod. Twitter only lets you have so many letters, god damn it. But Leading Edge Pod on Twitter. Check us out on Android, Apple and YouTube with the Leading Edge Podcast, guys. You have been legendary as always. Thanks for the support from me. It is a huge goodbye, and from Rich.
Hey, see you soon.
That's what we do now. We do bye and see you soon, and that's how we finish the show.
I'm going to change it next week. I'm not settled on one yet.
Okay, mate. No worries. All the best.